Hello, dear friend. How are you doing today? It's Patrick here again. I hope you're having a great day. I hope you're happy, spending time with people you love, enjoying the fresh air. It's a beautiful sunny day today. I wanted to make a comment about social engineering. If you're on Twitter, if you're not on Twitter, good for you. You're healthier, have probably a better state of mind. I spend a little bit of time on Twitter. I try and limit myself as much as possible because what I'm seeing is what I call social engineering. Remember when, if you are on Twitter, this video makes sense to you. If you're not, well, you can skip this one, I suppose. I make too many as it is already. But remember on Twitter when people would post, they said, I've just tested positive for COVID. I'm following the correct measures and I hope to get better soon. It was something along those lines. And every major politico would post that after a certain amount of time, or anybody that was in media, the blue check marks, basically anybody politically connected would post that statement on their account. And I thought about it and I said, what is the purpose behind that? I thought maybe it might have been some kind of hidden code for letting others in the inner circle know that they had completed a specific task. You know the way my mind thinks, conspiracy theory and all that. I was thinking maybe that was a request from the World Health Organization to show solidarity during that time, to encourage others. But I didn't really think a whole lot about it. But I'm noticing more of these, what you could call synchronized events happening. And yesterday in particular, I noticed one that you probably noticed too if you're in Canada. If you're elsewhere in the world, you probably won't notice it. For example, in Turkey right now, their Twitter is being squelched. It's being moderated. So they're not going to see the same things that people in other parts of the world are going to see. Fair enough. But yesterday, I started to notice, I'm not sure if it was yesterday or the day before, but anyway, it's recent. I started to notice people posting on their Twitter page a picture of themselves, and then they would say, my name is so-and-so. They'd usually mention their first name. My name is so-and-so, and I would like to ask Justin Trudeau to resign. Please like, share, and copy this tweet. That was the tweet. They were asking Justin Trudeau to resign. And some of the tweets that I saw were from people that I know, that I have either seen in person or have familiar with their profile and their public persona. I've seen them in a public setting, either on video or in person. And so some of the people, I know that those were genuine comments that they were making. They were asking Justin Trudeau to resign. However, I noticed that in my feed, I was also getting the same post from people that were not liked by anybody who I was following, that was not shared by anybody that I was following. It was simply a fresh post. And if you look at the top of Twitter, there's two categories. One is for you and one is following. So you can click on following and you'll see tweets from people you're following, obviously. But the default space is for you. And so for you, you're getting tweets from people you're following, and you're getting these ghost tweets. They just come in from nowhere. These ghost tweets are going to increase because the AI is able to spin up accounts that look genuine. They have a normal name, not the name with Joe and 6-digit numbers after them, or not the ones with no photo and no followers. These are genuine AI spun up accounts that look like genuine people. And those are going to increase because this is the social engineering tool that is going to be used as a method of influence more and more going into the future. And this can be used to sell products. This can be used to select candidates. And this is interesting that there was a lot more of these messages about asking Justin Trudeau to resign than could have been achieved even through an organic, grassroots, genuine social media trend You know, when something is trending and everybody's saying the same thing or looking at the same thing, you have a variety of commentary. This was a singular type of commentary. And what you noticed was happening is that people were seeing that and they would say, oh, I want to make that post too. So they would take a picture of themselves and they would post the same statement. I want to ask Justin Trudeau to resign. And so you had a combination of some that were genuine and some that were not. Now, whoever instigated that media storm, if you want to call it that, was a social engineer that did that, because I don't believe that that grew organically on its own. It just was too well coordinated, too exact, too precise, and the volume was too high than would have occurred, and it was too uniform than would have occurred through a strictly organic social media trend. Now, it could be wrong, but I'd be willing to bet good money that this was a social engineered, I don't know if you want to call it an assault, but what it is social peer pressure. We talk about peer pressure when we're dealing with teenagers, that they want to conform at all costs. And this is a peak time in a person's life when they were grasping for acceptance at all costs. It is at that time where your identity is being formed and you need validation at all costs, because you're breaking away from your parents' identity into your own identity. And so if you don't gain acceptance from your peers at that time of life, well, you end up at the top of a clock tower, or you end up depressed, or all kinds of negative consequences. I'm not a psychologist, but a psychologist could probably tell you something similar. That's a vital time of life. But we as adults continue to long for social acceptance. We still continue to be influenced by peer pressure, but just in a different way. It's not as vital, but it's just as deep when you're an adult, because you've already achieved your self-identity. You're a parent, you're a worker in a particular career. You have sort of these pillars of strength to prop up your identity or your self-esteem. However, socially, you still long for social acceptance. This is why we look up to celebrities, because we wish we could be a celebrity. We wish we could have accolades. We wish we could be the center of attention. And so they take advantage of this primal desire, if you want to call it that. Again, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a psychologist, but somebody that studies that field could probably explain it a lot better than I could. But it's easy to see visually what's happening on that particular platform. This social engineering puts these statements out, they magnify the message, they repeat the message over and over and over again, and eventually you start feeling like, yeah, I should make that same statement, right? And of course, it caters to those people who are already dissatisfied with Justin Trudeau. So it amplifies that message and it takes advantage of it. It's really quite, I wouldn't say genius and I wouldn't say diabolical, but it's a innovation that we are living through in real time. And so this social engineering, there are people that are taking advantage of it through their marketing efforts and their mastery of the social media itself, right? And so how they get compensated and how this gets paid and perpetuated, that is a bit of a mystery to me. I'm not a social media manager, and there's people that I'm sure are much more familiar with that than I am. However, this is something to be aware of, that this social media engineering is occurring in real time. Personally, I was kind of, I wouldn't say pleased, but I was kind of had a smug agreement with that message, because I'm not that fond of Justin Trudeau myself. So to see that message getting repeated and amplified, I'm kind of like, oh, okay, well, good for them. Somebody is endorsing the opposition, so to speak, right? So it seems apparent that his days leading the country of Canada are fast coming to an end, if that's any indication, because that takes a lot of concerted effort. It wouldn't be permitted unless it was permitted at a significantly high level. How do we know that? Well, simply because the country of Turkey asked Elon Musk, we don't want you, you either squelch these accounts, you either limit this commentary, or we're going to shut your entire access in our country. And so Elon Musk admitted he had no choice. He was either like, okay, well, I either got to listen to this country to squelch, and what the details of that squelching is, I don't know. Squelch just means to turn down the volume. It's probably not the correct word to use, but to moderate is probably a better term. So he gave in, even though he's a firm believer in free speech and he wants to have a free speech platform. That comes with limitations, right? And so he listened to the leader of that country, and I'm assuming he would do the same for Canada if Canada were to approach him, or the elites of Canada, or whoever's involved behind the elites of Canada. That could be, the WEF or whoever. Take your pick. And they were to say, okay, you can't have this trending where people are saying they want Justin Trudeau to resign. We've got to cut that out. Otherwise, we're gonna shut down your platform in Canada. What would Elon Musk do? He would say, okay, how high do I jump, right? So he's not doing that. So it's obvious that this trend, which just popped up in the last 48 hours, is being permitted. And so if that's being permitted, it's probably being engineered by a social media manager with some very good skills on behalf of the, I would assume, the Conservative Party, because they have the funds to initiate that, even though the cost may be very nominal to perpetuate that. It could be a very simple cost. And all it takes is a tipping point. A good book by Malcolm Gladwell, by the way, The Tipping Point. All you need is to repeat that message enough times, and the peer pressure, the innate desire to go along with what's trending will take over. Then you will have a genuine trend. Yes, I'm asking Justin Trudeau to resign. My name is so-and-so, and I think blah, blah, blah. You get the point, right? Then you have this snowball effect. And so the initial tipping point might only need to spin up 1,000 AI-generated accounts and send out the message once every 5 minutes, 10, 30 minutes. Depends. So wherever you are in Canada, if you experience this, if you happen to be on Twitter and you've experienced that, I'd love to hear from you and say, yeah, I've seen that too. If you can mention that in the comments. If not, that's fine. My videos normally only get viewed for the first 1 to 3 minutes. So the chance of anybody actually seeing this and agreeing with this is extremely low. So I do not have a voice on social media, unfortunately, because I would love to get feedback from other Canadians out there. But my voice is one in 36 million that just gets buried. So unfortunately, I don't have the voice of CBC or Global News or a Jordan Peterson, or take your pick, right? Which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. But if you happen to see this and you are experiencing the same thing, let me know your thoughts. If you're a psychologist and you know what's going on, or if you're a social media manager or a social media professional, I'd love to hear your opinion on that. But this whole area of social media engineering at a very high level and dealing with countrywide issues is something that is quite remarkable to see in real time, and we may only be able to study it years down the road. But we're living through it, so stay aware. Keep your eyes open, and if you can stay off of social media sites like Twitter, it's probably a good idea. Pardon me, it's probably the best solution, right? But it is very addictive, so I try and limit myself maybe like an hour in the morning, maybe like an hour in the evening, but it can reach out and grab a hold of you, and you want to stay connected to what other people are thinking, especially when you know that some of the accounts you're following are people you actually know, and you hear what they're saying, you say, yeah, you want to agree, and other people say, yeah, that's true. And it's so easy to find some kind of comfort in sharing. Well, you know the phrase, misery loves company, right? So if you're upset about something, you want to talk about it, you want to share it. Yeah, isn't that terrible? That's the statement. I've mentioned that in other videos, right? When they get you to say that statement, yeah, isn't that terrible? That's when they got you. That's when your attention is fully engaged. So instead, what should we say? Isn't that wonderful, right? See flowers growing in the spring, to see a little puppy dog playing with his toys. Isn't that wonderful? Wouldn't it be great if that sentiment had the same appeal as the sentiment of "Isn't that terrible?" It's so strange how our inclination is towards this disturbance, this psychological need for contempt. I can't think of a better way to describe it, but maybe someday I will. Does that make sense? Focus on the positive. What a wonderful day today is. The sun is shining. There's people that I love that I could spend a little bit of time with. There's some people that may love me. That would be something, that may want to spend some time with me. That would be novel. So thank you for watching. God bless you. I love you very much. And I hope that you're happy. And I hope that you don't have to waste any time on these crazy issues that we're living through about how social media is so powerful in the lives of many. And I'm guilty. I got to admit, I'm guilty. I'm a bit of an addict when it comes to Twitter. So we'll see what the future holds. But until then, God bless you. Thank you for watching. We'll talk to you again real soon. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye now.